thousands of illegals. That undermines our commitment to legal immigration. Although the illegal alien may be generally law-abiding, and particularly in good economic times, maybe we need the illegals, their entry in violation of the law is a violation of our national interest. The problem of illegal immigration will not be solved easily, and the cure, the solution, is not cheap. But if we're serious as a country, we have got to commit more resources than we currently are spending to this issue. We believe a credible approach to immigration must be comprehensive. If circumstances require additional resettlement, we should be able to exceed the $50,000 limit with appropriate congressional oversight. Now let me turn to the issue of Americanization. That term earned a bad reputation when it was used back in the 20s. Nevertheless, we find it the best way to describe what the Commission believes to be an essential part of immigration policy: the civic incorporation of newcomers. The United States is the most successful multi-ethnic nation in history. It has united immigrants and their descendants from all over the world around a commitment to democratic ideals and constitutional principles. Naturalization is the most visible manifestation of Americanization. I have spoken at some length with Commissioner Meisner about her commitment to naturalization. She has been pushing this issue within the government since she assumed her responsibilities at INS. I applaud her resolve in this matter. She has reached out to the private sector to get their assistance in preparing legal immigrants for naturalization. Now let me use this platform to do the same thing she did. I urge private industry, churches, community groups, volunteer groups, individuals to redouble their efforts to provide English language instruction and civics education to immigrants. I remind immigrants that they too have a responsibility. They have a responsibility to embrace the common core of American civic culture, civic values, and institutions. Now, at present, there is a great interest in naturalization, a greater interest than capacity to act upon that interest.
Love, but one of the most beloved people in our state is a great lady named Barbara Jordan. She served in the U.S. Congress. She's now at the Lyndon Johnson School in the Centennial Chair of National Policy. She got her bachelor's degree from Texas Southern, her law degree from Boston University. Hold on to your hat, she's received 31 honorary doctorate degrees. Congresswoman Jordan practiced law in Houston. She served in the Texas State Legislature. She was elected to the House of Representatives, where she served till 1978. In 1976, Time magazine selected Representative Barbara Jordan as one of its 10 Women of the Year. That same year, she delivered the keynote address at the Democratic National Convention. She was a member of the House Committee on the Judiciary, House Committee on Government Operations, Steering and Policy Committee of the Democratic Caucus. She serves on the board of directors of the Meade Corporation, Texas Commerce Bank, Burlington Northern, and Northrop Grumman Corporation. She is a recipient of numerous humanitarian and public service awards. She has a heart as big as Texas. It has been my privilege to know her.
First of all, Congratulations. It's a hot-button issue, and I chair this commission, and it is a bipartisan commission. The president appointed me as the chair, and I'm the only presidential appointee on it. It's a congressional commission. It has an even number of Republicans and Democratic appointees representing every conceivable view on immigration and what to do about it. Its purposes is to make recommendations to Congress to reform immigration policy and to ensure that immigration serves the national interest. Let me emphasize the bipartisan nature of our deliberations. The issue of immigration is not a partisan issue. Immigration is central to our American identity. The tradition of immigration continues. There are two Texans in Congress who are dealing with immigration: Lamar Smith, Republican; John Bryant, Texan, Democrat. They have introduced a bill dealing with immigration reform, and they have tracked the recommendations of the commission. Alan Simpson and Ted Kennedy have worked together for years to ensure bipartisan support of this issue. And the president and his administration have taken a very highly activist view and stance in working to curb illegal immigration. It is going to take both the Congress and the administration to do it. Now, let me tell you a bit about the commission. We were created in the Immigration Reform Act of 1990. Our mandate is to make these recommendations and to make them by 1997. In not quite 3 years, the commission has held dozens of hearings all over the country. We've been in Los Angeles, Miami, Chicago, San Diego, El Paso, New York City, San Juan, Austin, Texas, Lowell, Massachusetts, Nogales, Arizona. In coming months, we're going to Seattle and San Francisco and back to Texas in the winter. We remain engaged in the mission which the Congress assigned to us, but we have reached certain conclusions, and I will sum up those recommendations to you. We have concluded that a properly regulated legal immigration system is in the national interest. We support the basic framework of current policy, but I said properly regulated, and I mean that. Immigration is not a right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution to everyone anywhere in the world who thinks they want to come to the United States. Immigration is a privilege. It is a privilege granted by the people of the United States to those we choose to admit. But this is not a mere favor that we grant to people because we're generous. We're a generous nation, yes. But we're saying that immigration is in our national interest. We admit that. It is in our national interest to unite families and create economic growth and protect those who flee persecution, as many before the immigrants of today seeking freedom in this land of opportunity have sought. The Commission recommendations are intended to continue the benefits of legal immigration while limiting costs. And there are costs. Good things are rarely free. These costs are often borne disproportionately by regions, states, localities, which are the focus of immigrants: California, Texas, Florida, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Arizona in particular. The Commission first recommended a comprehensive strategy to deter illegal immigration. We must control illegal immigration before it erodes our first commitment to legal immigration in the national interest. The Commission defines credibility in immigration policy by a simple yardstick. Those who should get in, get in. Those who should not get out are kept out. And those who should not be here are required to leave. We, as a commission, we denounce hostility toward immigrants. That is antithetical to our traditions and our national interest. And we cannot sustain ourselves as a society if we condone divisiveness. But we are a country of laws. For our immigration policy to make sense, it is necessary to make distinctions between those who obey the law and those who violate it. Therefore, we disagree with those who would label any effort to control illegal immigration as somehow inherently anti-immigrant. Unlawful immigration is not acceptable. Now, many Americans believe that this government cannot or will not manage immigration. Despite any recent improvements in border management and other immigration enforcement, the continued entry of illegal aliens fuels that perception. The Commission recommends a 7-part strategy to fight illegal immigration. Better border management, including prevention of illegal entry and facilitation of legal crossings. Reduction of the job magnet. We must face the fact the reason illegal aliens come here can be summed up in 3 words: they get jobs. Limits on the eligibility of illegal aliens for benefits combined with impact assistance to states and localities for unavoidable costs of emergency health care, other emergency assistance, education, and criminal justice expenditures, prompt deportation procedures, preparation for migration emergencies, initiatives to reduce the causes of migration in the source country and improve the data. One recommendation, of course, caused more debate than any other. The Commission recommended the development and implementation of a better system to verify authorization to work. One that can eliminate fraud and discrimination and continue to protect our privacy and relieve businesses of unnecessary and counterproductive paperwork. At present, employers look at 1 or 2 of 29 different documents to establish work authorization. The most common are driver's license and Social Security card, and both are easily forged. We visited a park in Los Angeles where for $40 you could purchase counterfeits that will pass muster by any employer in this country. And that's why we have such a problem of illegal immigration. Verifying work authorization is not akin to Big Brother, much as opponents of the idea would have you think it is. We rejected out of hand any concept of a national ID card that Americans would have to carry and produce on demand. This is the United States of America. No one should be stopped and demanded, papers, please. But frankly, verifying the right to work in the United States is essential to curbing unlawful immigration and the worst excesses of the underground economy. The abuse of our economy by unlawful workers and those who hire them, the undermining of wages and working conditions we have fought so long to protect, the erosion of integrity in our Social Security system by illegal aliens, these are the things that must stop. Speaking as someone who one of these days, and not too far off, hopes to receive Social Security benefits, I want to be sure that there is no one else out there using my number. That is why we recommend electronic validation of the Social Security number. We all provide that number to any employer. It's already used in tax withholding, Social Security withholding, verifying that number, which most of us know by memory, would require no document, no single document, and it may not require a document at all. It should be no more difficult than it is now for you to use your credit card in making a purchase or an ATM withdrawal. This system is not going to happen overnight. We must improve the databases of both Social Security Administration and the Immigration and Naturalization Service. Wrong information doesn't help anybody, but it won't happen unless we begin to recognize this process has got to start now. First through pilot projects, and then if they work, through national implementation. Earlier this year, the Commission made recommendations on legal immigration reform. After examining the question from every angle, immigration and population, immigration and the environment, immigration and the labor force, every possible angle, we concluded that our focus must be, as an overriding issue, the national interest. We concluded that legal immigration is in the national interest if it is properly regulated. We propose reforms to ensure that it will be well regulated. First and foremost, as a nation, we need to set priorities. We believe there are three priorities: reunification of nuclear families, admission of highly skilled workers needed to increase competitiveness of U.S. businesses and workers, and refugee admissions that reaffirm our traditional commitments to provide refuge to the persecuted. The number of immigrants should flow from these priorities. What that translates into is a gradual reduction of admissions during the next 5 or 6 years, 5 to 8 years. Gradual reduction because we have some unfinished business to address. Reduction because not all of our immigrant categories are high in the national interest. For family-based immigration, the priority has to be nuclear family. First, spouses and minor children of U.S. citizens. The parents of U.S. citizens second. Third, the spouses and minor children of legal permanent residents. Our aim is to ensure that every nuclear family member is able to reunite with his U.S. relatives within 1 year of application. That is not currently the case. There are more than 1.1 million spouses and minor children who now wait in line. Under current law, these nuclear families, mothers, fathers, and young children, will be separated for years. That is not in the national interest, and that's not right. The Commission recommends then 550,000 family visas per year until we have eliminated that backlog. That should take about 5 or 6 years. Thereafter, 400,000 visas per year should be sufficient to admit all nuclear families expeditiously. In effect, what we recommend is to stop the extended families, adult children, brothers and sisters, and redirect those visas towards expediting admissions of nuclear family members. Now, it is not that we believe immigration of extended family members are harmful, but we do not have unlimited numbers of immigrant visas. The Commission believes we must direct the numbers towards our priorities. And I don't think anyone in this audience would argue that our basic family value a reunification, wife and husband, parent and young child, elderly parent with the child who can help in her old age, this must take precedence. But even nuclear family reunification is not without obligations on the part of those who benefit from immigration. The Commission believes that those who sponsor new immigrants have responsibility for ensuring that their relatives will not become burdens on taxpayers. You and I should not have to pay for someone else's family reunification. Sponsors now sign an affidavit pledging support for the new immigrant. That affidavit has moral force. That should be enough, but it's not. That affidavit ought to have legal force. Now, that sponsor must be legally responsible. We also recognize that circumstances change if a subsequent illness, death, or accident renders a sponsor unable to fulfill these responsibilities, and the immigrant is aged or infirm, and he or she should be eligible then for our safety net programs. Employment-based immigration. The Commission concluded that the national interest is twofold: to enhance global competitiveness, not only for American business, but also for the American worker. We reject protectionism for highly skilled, specialized workers. The American worker, who is educated, trained, professional, and experienced, will thrive on competition anywhere in the world. But moreover, the entry of these foreign workers creates economic opportunities for American workers. To give one example, we heard testimony from a company that intended to develop a new product line that would create thousands of new manufacturing and sales jobs. The one person with specialized knowledge for this new product, this person had done his doctoral dissertation, but that person was also foreign. With his expertise, the company embarked on this new venture, saving months of planning and gaining a competitive advantage over its foreign competition. Had this petition been denied for admission, the opportunity would have been lost, and along with it, jobs for many Americans. Now, much as we support specialized immigration of this type, the Commission finds no national interest in continuing to import lesser skilled and unskilled workers to compete in the most vulnerable parts of our labor force. Many American workers do not now have adequate job prospects, and they're not improving. With welfare reform, many more unskilled American workers will enter the labor market. We should make their task easier to find employment, not harder, by having a priority of unskilled foreign labor. Also, in our skills-based immigration system, we should not have artificially high ceilings. We recommend 100,000 visas per year, about 10% above current demand, and we recommend that that should be examined every 3 to 5 years and raise or lower it as our quotas match economic realities. The Commission is also examining the future of refugee policy. Later this year, we will make a full report on refugee programs as well as on migration emergencies, and we will pay particular attention to our experiences with Haiti and Cuba of last summer. We recommend that the target be placed in the law for resettling at least 50,000 refugees a year in this country, with specific provisions for emergency increases as necessary. We believe in sustaining the humanitarian leadership of the United States in the world, where there are 25 million refugees, requiring that a commitment to resettle at least a certain number of these refugees should be written into law. That is not to say that resettlement in the United States is the best option. Restoring the fabric of torn nations so that people can stay home is the best. That remains our best solution for the world's refugees. Now let me speak for a moment about ethnic strife. Look at Bosnia, look at Rwanda. We live in a world where the kind of country we have built here, this land, is an exception rather than a rule. The United States of America is the most successful multi-ethnic nation in history. Oh, sure, we have troubles. We have troubles, and I'm the last person in the world who would say that we're perfect. But we are right now having, as a nation, a kind of perfection in us, because of that founding principle which is universal, that we're all created equal. Regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of national ancestry. When the Declaration of Independence was written, the Constitution was adopted, the Bill of Rights were added, they all applied almost exclusively to Anglo-Saxon men who held property on the East Coast. Not so today. I'm in there. Female, black. This self-evident principle applies to everybody in this room. Everybody in this room. That progress happens in America not by accident. Immigration played an important role in broadening our view of ourselves. This has not been an easy history, our history. There have always been those who despise newcomers. The history of American immigration policy is full of racism and ethnic prejudice. The Know-Nothings, the Chinese Exclusion Act, country quotas. Even before the Revolution, there was an eminent person like Benjamin Franklin who feared that the Germans going into Pennsylvania would not become English. Now, the German immigrants, they did not become German. And they didn't make Germans out of Pennsylvanians. Instead, they both became Americans. And so did immigrants. And so did immigrants from Ireland, Scotland, and other parts in Europe, the Chinese Americans, the Koreans, the Mexicans, the Cubans, the Haitians. We must not forget this history because it's a key to our future. The United States has united immigrants and their descendants from all over the world around a commitment to democratic ideals and constitutional principles. Those ideals and principles have been embraced by persons from an extraordinary range of ethnic and religious backgrounds. This is partly because we are founded on religious and cultural diversity within a framework of national unity. We are a nation that seeks unity, not uniformity. This is what we seek. There is a word for this process that I'm talking about, and that word is Americanization. That word earned a bad reputation when it was stolen by racists and xenophobes in the 20s, but it's our word and we're taking it back. It must mean what it says. Americanization means the process of becoming an American. It means civic incorporation, becoming a part of the polity, becoming one of us. It does not mean conformity. We are more than a melting pot. We are a kaleidoscope where every turn of history refracts new light on that old promise. Naturalization is an important and vital step in the process. Immigration obligations are imposed because we are committed to immigration in the national interest. Those who choose to come here must embrace our common core of American values. There is a common core of our civic culture, but that imposes obligations on the rest of us. Immigrants must be encouraged and assisted in learning to communicate with all of us to the greatest extent possible in our common language. American English. This does not mean abandoning the old ways. It means enhancing them. We must renew civic education in the teaching of American history to all Americans. We must vigorously enforce the laws against hate crimes and discrimination. We must remind ourselves as we illustrate to newcomers what makes us America. We are a nation of immigrants dedicated to the rule of law. That is our history. And that is our challenge to ourselves. We on the Commission on Immigration Reform are trying to be true to that history and to meet that challenge with specific recommendations which we will make and have made to the Congress, because immigration is so critically important to our future. We cannot evade the responsibility to make the necessary choices to reform immigration. It's literally a matter of who we are as a nation and who we become as a people. E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. One. One people. The American people.